So this is a bill to limit legal liability for firearms manufacturers in New Hampshire passes the Senate. So the state Senate approved an amended version of House Bill 381, which we also have pulled up, which would shelter manufacturers from certain liability claims regarding optional features on firearms. Senators said the bill is primarily intended to address the ongoing litigation involving Sig Sauer. Now, the state of New Hampshire and the senators there that are sponsored by Sig Sauer are attempting to install legislation to limit their legal liability, which is quite funny considering that they've lost somewhere between 3 and 6 cases, not including the ones that were settled out of court privately, but they've lost several high profile cases of late.
Well, you can even see the ad right there at the top. 10 people now suing New Hampshire-based Sig Sauer over claims the gun can fire without trigger pull.
No, I know that is a good sublink to put into this article. So thank you to Marissa for doing that. I appreciate it. So their home is in New Hampshire. They want to stay in New Hampshire, and they're asking us for help to fight against false, defective claims that would take jobs away from research and development. Now that's a word salad right there. To help fight against false defective claims, again, other than the claims that you lost in court, that would take jobs away from research and development. Like, listen, guys, if we lose more cases, we're going to have to fire people. So we need you guys to make it to where these people can't sue us anymore. And this is Senator Bill Gannon. And Sig Sauer is a wonderful corporate citizen and New Hampshire employer. They are worthy of all the accolades that my colleague from District 23 has said. But this is no way to address a product's liability issue, said Senator Tara Reardon D. Concord. So she's very nice there and saying that they're a wonderful corporate citizen, but this is no way to address a product's liability issue. 100% agree. And this is from a Democrat as well. So I don't necessarily agree with her flowery language, but the main point is that they shouldn't use legislation to protect a corporate entity from issues with their products. Although I did, on a totally unrelated note, I did see that I think just a couple hours ago, Boeing settled with the U.S. government on claims of the 737 crashes that they had. So apparently they took some dollar amount fine from the U.S. government as well out of that. So if you pay us enough money, I guess we don't care how bad your product is or how many people it injures. So you had a specific line that you wanted to look at in there, didn't you, Richard?
Yes, I did. It was if you look here, read the top part of it. They basically state that they want protection from firearms that can't be proven in a court of law as defective, meaning the person would have to be able to recreate the issue. But if you scroll down a little bit further below all of the subtext, an act exempting firearms and firearms accessories manufactured for in-state use only from the National Firearms Act.
Right. So this would be similar to what we tried to see in Texas and Montana, where they tried to do basically an in-state suppressor rule where they didn't. Basically, if you were in Montana or you were in Texas, you could manufacture your own suppressors within the state, and then they would be exempt from the NFA. The feds didn't really jive with that, so those are still in court, I think, up till this day. But maybe that one will go away in the next couple of days. Who knows? But yeah, so an act exempting firearms and firearms accessories manufactured for in-state use only from the National Firearms Act, which sounds, again, like some of these other bills that we've seen. And then 381 FN, an act limiting liability for certain design features of firearms. Sponsored Republican Belker, Republican Cochran, Republican Tom, Republican Sabarin.
So one of those guys is actually that's his district. SIG is located in his district specifically.
Of course.
And the unions are the ones who lobbied for this. The labor unions inside of SIG, the machinist unions, tool and die, things like that. Those are the ones who initially did the lobbying.
Mm-hmm. So let me see. I want to see here. So in any product liability action involving a firearm, the manufacturer of the firearm shall not be liable in tort under any theory of defective product design, failure to warn, negligence, strict product liability, or any other claim based on the absence or presence of any of the following features. That's wild. Shall
Correct.
not be liable under tort any theory of defective product design, failure to warn, even negligence, strict product liability, or any other claim based on the absence or presence of any of the following features. So whether or not they have or don't have these features: a magazine disconnect mechanism, a loaded chamber indicator, authorized user recognition technology, which I think that's something that really only
Smart
applies
gun.
to, yeah, smart guns, like something they were trying to say something like that in California, or an external mechanical safety, including but not limited to a hinged, pivoting, or tabbed trigger safety. So I
Yes,
think
this is
that last language right there on the tabbed trigger safety, that was actually the reason, one of the stated reasons they lost one of their court case, was because they couldn't prove that the gun had gone off, but they proved that the SIG's inability to add or design choice to not add a tabbed trigger safety was the most likely culprit. And so they held SIG more liable for the discharge than the actual person because of that design short change. So this, if enacted, would actually protect them from that one specific case where they actually did lose, I think it was $11 million or something like that in that case.
And to be clear, there's still an ongoing, I believe it's still ongoing, where a gentleman in, I want to say Pennsylvania, was found in his basement. He didn't make it, and he left behind a wife and child, and that case is still ongoing. And to my knowledge,
they are suing SIG for wrongful death, and that the allegation is that the gun went off while inside of his appendix carry holster and killed him in his downstairs. And
the important
really
thing
tragic story. They found him with a tourniquet trying to apply it, but he was shot in an area where a tourniquet wouldn't really help. So it's a really dark, sad story.
Rarely will you find somebody in that instance that actually even has a tourniquet close enough to be able to do something like that. So something tells me that he was more knowledgeable and more hands-on than most.
Well, I think he was in his gun room, which was his downstairs.
Downstairs in his basement in his gun area. But what I did find significant about that case is the FFL itself that sold it to him is also named as a defendant.
The FFL?
So, yes, the FFL was also named. The lawyers and family are going after the FFL as well as SIG.